Greetings, fellow barbarians. It is I, Alan Odinson, and this is the Barbarian Lounge podcast. I want to thank everybody for hanging with me today. As always, we've got an awesome show lined up for you. But first off, let's get some of that housekeeping out of the way. First off, our website is thebarbarianlounge.com. Go there, check it out. Got a lot of stuff up on there. Going to be updating the archives yet again. We've been trying to keep those regularly updated. Sometimes things kind of fall behind because, let's be honest, this is kind of a one-man show here, folks. But we're going to be updating those. As always, we do not have the complete archives there. In order to access those, you need to become a member, which I will explain to you shortly. But we've got a bunch of our interviews as well as several of our shows dating all the way back to like episode 30, 40, something like that. I don't even really remember right off the top of my head. But a lot of good stuff up on there as well as some articles. We got several articles under review right now that have been sent to us by listeners. So if you got a little bit of that writing bug, feel free to send us an article. You can either send it on our Facebook page, the Barbarian Lounge Podcast, or you can send it directly via email to thebarbarianlounge@gmail.com, and we'll go through it there, and we'll contact you and let you know whether or not it's made the cut to go on the website. So feel free to do that. Also, while you're there on thebarbarianlounge.com, I urge you to check out that shop button. When you click on the shop, you will find our Thuggy Strangulation cords. Yes, that's right. Here at the Barbarian Lounge, our goal is to make strangulation great again. And there's no better way to do that than picking up one of our Thuggy Strangulation cords. Recently, our Thuggy Strangulation cords have been very, very popular with our allies across the pond there, who are right now doing their best to survive as an invading horde of orcs have been let through. The queen has lowered the drawbridge, and the orcs are invading the fucking castle that is Europe right now. And they're doing their best. They've been pretty much forgotten by their government, as far as I'm concerned. And I think if you ask them, they would tell you the same thing. They've already been disarmed of their firearms. Now they're trying to disarm them of their knives. And it's becoming very, very difficult for them to even have the means of protecting themselves. Recently saw an article there not long ago where a guy defended himself against a burglar, and he actually was arrested, for one. For two, there's memorials set up for the fucking murderer at his house, right? This guy who had broken into him, not only was he a burglar, but also had been I believe there had been some indications that the guy had been involved in some homicides as well. And you had an elderly gentleman defend himself, and guess what? Now everyone's over there saying, oh, the poor, poor, poor burglar. How dare you defend yourself, old man? This guy was in his late 70s. How dare you defend yourself? Well, here at the Barbarian Lounge, we want to see our brethren over there armed in some way, shape, or form. And the Thuggy Strangulation Corp from the BarbarianLounge.com shop has become a popular item over there. So pick yours up. Pick yours up and join us as we try to make strangulation great again. The other thing, when you're there on the BarbarianLounge.com, check out that donate button. Now, when you click on that I can't talk today. When you click on that donate button, you will have two options. One of those is a one-time PayPal donation, which is exactly as advertised. If you know how to use PayPal and you know what the words one-time donation mean, should be a piece of cake. You shouldn't have any problem figuring that out on your own. The other option is to become a member on our Patreon site. When you click on that Patreon link, it will take you to our Patreon site, which is our members page, and you will basically make a donation, a per episode donation. At a minimum, I think the minimum is like $1 you can make on a per episode basis. A lot of people are doing $2 now and up. So they've made the decision to actually get in the fight, not just doing the bare minimum. They want to get out there and put some effort put some effort, and put some fire behind this podcast. And let me tell you something, it ignites me every single time that I see those people and interact with them via that platform. If you become a member, if you decide to make the move to no longer be a spectator and actually step into the Barbarian Army, when you become a member, you will receive certain perks and benefits. One of those is you will gain access to our regular shows early ahead of everybody else. Usually those are about anywhere from 4 to 7 days ahead of time, depending. Case in point, when I finish doing this show, bam, it immediately goes up on the website and you will have access to it. The other benefit is that you will have access to our complete archives dating all the way back to episode 1, as well as some of our interviews, especially some of our lost interviews. I just uploaded a lost interview the other day, and man, a lot of that stuff got destroyed in the hack, and I've been lucky enough to be able to build it back up, but I wanted to provide that content for our members. And let me tell you, there's a lot of shows back there that we're definitely drawing the line, and probably one of the reasons that we ended up getting hacked twice last year. My episode on Civil War II is a very popular one that was down for a while, and I was able to get it re-uploaded. That was a 2-parter there. So it's a pretty big task to get those archives up and going, but I'm glad that I've got that going for our members right now. So if you want to gain access to the complete archive dating all the way back, you have access to that. The other option, the last and the biggest, I think, benefit of becoming a member is you get 4 exclusive broadcasts only available to members. Yes, that's right. You're only hearing half of what the Barbarian Lounge is doing. This right here is episode 102. I just recorded episode 67 of members-only content for our members. So we technically, while we're up to 102, we're already 67 shows in. You have missed 67 shows from the Barbarian Lounge. Needless to say, sometimes I tend to take the gloves off a little bit more when I'm on the private airwaves as opposed to fully uncloaking here over the open airwaves for the world to see and alphabet agencies to tap into. So, I like to keep those shows fairly educational at times. Sometimes, man, I just want to rant. And the rule's always been, and it holds firm today, that my members, those are my people. Those are my people. Those are the people that stand behind me. Many of them have stood behind me since day one. And when they ask for stuff, I do the things to the best of my ability to provide that for them. They definitely 100% get preferential treatment. You want to talk about privilege here at the Barbarian Lounge? Members get privilege. Plain and simple. So the time has come. The time has come to no longer sit on the side. You want to sit on the sidelines and eat your popcorn and drink your soda pop and watch as we're out here actually fighting. If you want to do that, that's fine. If you want to be a spectator, have at it. We appreciate you listening. But if you want to actually make changes, if you actually want to get out there, put some support, put some fire behind this broadcast, we need your support. This isn't the fucking Joe Rogan experience here, all right? This isn't making, several $1 million a show here, all right? A lot of this stuff comes out of pocket, and some people don't like to ask for help. I know that if this show is going to have any sort of longevity, I have to have support. It's the same. I use the analogy to a military force fighting against another military force, right? And make no mistake about it, the Barbarian Lounge is fighting over here. All right, but that military force can only fight for so long before it needs support, right? It needs more ammunition, needs food, needs firearms, needs medical attention. The support that we get provide things like antivirus protection, upgrading our systems, upgrading our show. I've got several upgrades that I need to do. I've already made some thanks to our donations. And keeping this show alive. If it was not for our members' support, this show would be dead by now because those fuckers that hacked us last year twice, they would have won. But thankfully, I have my supporters behind me. And now's the time for you to do the same. Another way that another support that we get here is through our sponsors. And our sponsors, OdinsonArchery.com, traditional bows made from non-traditional materials. Yes, Blade Show is rolling down the line. It is knocking on the door, and I'm about to rip what little bit of hair I have left out of my skull preparing for Blade Show. Blade Show is always like a hectic time of the year, and I'm pretty excited about it, especially because some of the Sayak brethren are going to be down. I'm pretty excited to hang out with them again. I usually hang out with that crew anyway. That's kind of my boys. But there's going to be some more of the Sayak boys down there this year, and man, I'm stoked. Those are my homies. So any of you guys listening to this, Alan Odinson's coming, and I'm going to see you there. But yeah. Odinson Archery, traditional bows made from non-traditional materials. You do not have to break the bank to become a member of the Brotherhood of the Bow. Go check out OdinsonArchery.com and experience the difference. See why our materials being sold all over the world. See why Odinson Archery has been chosen by some of the white farmers there in South Africa to arm themselves against the coming invasion. Yes, that's right. I make no boast about it whatsoever. And they tried to destroy and block the last shipment I sent, but I found out words today, and it ignited me. You could probably hear it in my voice. It ignited me to know that those people that needed those bows, needed that weaponry, they received it today. That's right, they received it today. And they're doing what they can to protect themselves from another system that has forsaken them. So somebody didn't inform them that they have white privilege. So there's that. Our other sponsor, PTAFs. Yes, Aaron Cable at PTAFs. You can check them out. As always, if you go, the best way to find the best information about this is to click on the show link. When I do the show link, you'll see at the bottom it says support our sponsors. Right there, you'll see the flyer there, the ad for PTAFs. And I'm telling you right now, we need to start taking responsibility for our health. We need to start taking responsibility for our future. And the best way to do it is to start getting your body in shape. Getting your body in shape, because when your body gets in shape, your mind gets in shape, and a holistic approach to personal development starts to come to pass. And I've been taking, somebody noted the other day in a video I posted, I've been going through some injuries, but man, I've been working on my diet and stuff like that. I've dropped several pounds already. I was down to, I was up to like 255 after I got hurt, and I weighed in this morning at 246 and a half, I think. And I'm steady dropping. I'm working on the diet aspect. I've eliminated completely. This is good for me, by the way. I've eliminated sodas completely, and I'm pretty happy about that. But check them out if you want to really truly make a difference in something that you do have control over. PTAFs. Check out Aaron Cable, and all you gotta do is look at a picture of Aaron Cable, and you will say, "Oh shit, this chick knows what she's talking about." I've seen personal trainers out there, they're like, "I'm a personal trainer," and they're like fucking 300 pounds. No, you won't find that with Aaron Cable. You'll see that this chick is jacked. And if you want to get in shape, if you want to lose some weight the right way, the correct way, get your body trained and be ready. Because as we know, stronger people are harder to kill. Check them out, Aaron Cable, PTAFs. You can find the link right there. When you click on, you will see a nice little banner there, and underneath it, it will say, click here to find Aaron Cable. Bam, you click that, you can find it, and you can start setting up for you can get online counseling, in-person counseling, group fitness, child fitness for young people. That is so important. Combat arts fitness, right? You want to get in shape to fight. You want to get in fighting shape. She's the wife of a former professional fighter. Get with it, guys. Get with it. Check them out. And they're supporting this show, and we thank them. Our full support is behind them as well. We have to start supporting each other in this fight, man. We have to. We have to support small businesses. Need to support small businesses. People that share like minds. We need to start working together to build ourselves up. We can't depend on this system out there. These people out there, these fucking mongrels that are wandering around out there just slothing through life. You open the door, it looks like the Walking Dead, walking around there. Nah, we got to support each other by supporting our businesses, our endeavors, putting the information out there. This podcast is not in competition with the other guys, all right? I am here to build people up so we can come together and fight. Because the fight is at hand. The fight is at hand. I think that's about it. Shout out real quick to our network, UCY.TV. Good network. Go there, check it out. All you UCY.TV guys that are listening right now, grab yourself a drink, nice little bottle of rum, take a big sip, and enjoy the lounge. Shout out to you. All right. So what I want to talk about. When I found out about this, I've got my sources. Everybody always laughs when I say I have my sources because I think they've heard people like that's a common thing you hear, like people in the conspiratorial movement. They're like, "Well, my sources tell me that," and I'm like, "No, I actually do have sources, and I will put their name out there if they want to." But a lot of these guys, they like to keep things incognito. Why? Because most of them work in occupied territory. Namely colleges, namely in high schools, in other levels of government office, law enforcement, military. So they don't really want their names out there, okay? I have my, if you guys remember, what was it, Starsky and Hutch? You know, they had Huggy Bear. I have lots of Huggy Bears around me, okay? That sounds really fucking weird. If you just pick the show up and you're like, what the fuck's Odinson talking about? He's surrounded by Huggy Bears. So what I wanted to talk about, I received this information from a friend of mine, an ally, if you will. They informed me of an event where I live at, not too far from here. I travel there a good bit. I will go there. I'll hang out. I'll check out some of the different stuff they've got going on around town. And I became aware of this event that was going on at the local library. And how I became aware of this was this person managed to sneak a capture shot of this flyer, of this nice little event they had going on. And the event was called Waking Up White. Let me look here and read it for you. Let me grab it here real quick. Okay, here it is. It was called Truth Telling Talks. Oh, Truth Telling. Waking Up White and Finding Myself in the Story of Race. Oh. And it's got a little white Shirley Temple looking girl in there, and on the front of it. And it says it's an honest discussion about white advantage. Oh, advantage. White advantage and what it means to each of us as we live out our lives. 6 weekly sessions to explore the implications of racial identity and share personal experiences. Now, this event was happening at the it was happening at the library there. So when I saw this, I said, "Oh shit, I have got to go to this," right? I mean, I was already, as William Wallace would say, I'm going to peck a fight. I was ready to go peck a fight, okay? Because one, I have a huge problem with basically a state facility in the public library there, large, huge facility, basically sponsoring an event that's basically, for lack of a better term, is an anti-white event. I have a problem with that. If there was I have a problem. I have a big problem when you when you're having anti-white events at the public library. Okay, well, Odinson, it's not an anti-white event. They're just talking about the white privilege that you have. Really? Is that all they're talking about? Well, hell. If I bring my white privilege card, can I get free admission? Does it cost me anything to go to the event if I actually bring my white privilege card? Oh, well, damn, I must have misplaced it. Maybe one of you guys out there, if any of you guys have your white privilege card, do you mind, shipping it to me, like mail it to me? Or maybe send me a copy of it in the email? Maybe send a copy of it to me. And maybe I can take that and use your card, right? Did you guys lose yours too? Well, shit. We're the worst white people ever. It's absolutely asinine. They can call it whatever they want to, but it is an event designed to demonize and ostracize a particular race. Guess what? These same people that are concerned about racism, guess what they are doing? They are perpetuating the exact ideology that they have a problem with. So, unfortunately for me, and this really broke my heart when I saw this. Unfortunately for me, by the time the flyer was sent to me, the 6 sessions had already stopped. I think the session stopped on April 6th, and I got it like late last week. I was extremely upset because I had already planned to go into this event and probably get thrown out and probably arrested. I don't know. We'll see. We would see, right? I mean, there just kind of comes a point where I'm sick and tired of these people thinking they can go out and carry out these events with complete and utter impunity. Because there's a big problem. There's a big problem with everyone is too afraid to say shit. Right? Everybody's too afraid to say shit. Well, just let them have their little thing and everything will be fine. Well, what's the goal of their little thing here? If you go back and you look at, I've talked to a friend of mine who is extremely knowledgeable about the Bolshevik Revolution. When you look at how that was set up and how the rise of the Bolshevik Party to prominence, as how that happened, a relatively small party, it started out with the same strategies that we see being employed right now through this whole racist card, right? The big story on everybody's lips right now is the Starbucks fucking fiasco, which is asinine, right? I mean, I've seen different things about that. Oh, well, they threw those guys out because they were black. Never any mention of race during the phone call, right? They have a policy there that you can't use the bathroom unless you purchase something. These individuals were intent on using the bathroom. They said, purchase something. They said, no, fuck you. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. You're going to get the cops called on you. And then when they say, look, we're going to call the police if you don't leave, they say, fine, call them. Guess what? It's called trespassing. It's the same as if I went to this event and they said, you got to leave, and I refuse to leave, and they call the cops on me. It doesn't matter what my position is. At that point, I'm on private property and I'm trespassing. I've been asked to leave. You have to comply or go to jail. It's real simple. But instead, we see this virtue signal. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, we saw Starbucks come out. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, it's just disgusting that this thing would happen. Fuck you and your burnt-ass coffee. You can keep your $7 coffee. Because let me tell you something. I will readily admit that I am a Starbucks drinker. Let me rephrase that. I was a Starbucks drinker. Okay? They can kiss my ass with their fucking coffee now. Because what I see is complete and utter lack of scruples and a weakness on their part. For me, I will get my coffee elsewhere, and that's fine. It's really upsetting to me. I can't stand to see a company bend to the will of lunacy, and that's precisely what I was seeing with this whole Starbucks fiasco. It's absolutely ridiculous to the point where you got people going in with bullhorns. Oh, you're racist. Complete and utter horse shit. Now it's become, we live in a world now where if you dare, and I mean dare, you better not. If you dare to enforce the law on a individual of color, you've magically transformed yourself into racist. You could have 4 black cops arrest a black man who was committing a crime, and it would be considered racist. I mean, that's the kind of lunacy we're in right now. I just posted an article on the Barbarian Lounge Facebook page. If you haven't clicked like there and you're not following us there, you are fucking up. So go do that right now. Pause this podcast, or while you're listening to me talk, go there on Facebook, the Barbarian Lounge podcast. Click like so you can follow me there. All right, but I post an article on there about how they've declared that Dungeons and Dragons is now an example of white privilege and all this other bullshit. Completely asinine. This is the lunacy. This is the lunacy that has basically enveloped this entire nation. And it's only happening because companies like Starbucks are bending to the will of these psychopaths. And there needs to come a point where a business needs to stand up and say, you know what, enough is enough. But hell, I guess if you look at it, you look at the client base that Starbucks deals with, they're dealing with a bunch of fucking leftists to start with. They got a bunch of yuppie, self-deprecating white people that go there to enjoy their $7 a cup coffee. So I guess they are appealing to their demographic, aren't they? Because let me tell you something, most black folks got enough sense not to go spend $7 on a cup of fucking coffee. They'll go to Dunkin' Donuts, right? Get some of their coffee. I like to go to, there's a local shop around here called Lula's that I like. There's also a Christian coffee shop that I frequent a good bit here, local in my town, keeping my local economy going. They can keep their $7 a cup fucking coffee, all right? They're burnt-ass beans. So I saw this whole event coming with this thing, and man, I started looking immediately to see if they were going other places, and started looking into the people who were putting on the event and all this, and I'm like, man, let me see if I can maybe get in contact with them. So I find a link to these people on Facebook, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to see if I can contact them. I click on the link, and what do I see? Surprise, surprise, surprise. Who do I see is the individuals heading up this event? A middle-aged, northern, old white lady. Surprise, sa-fucking-prise. I am absolutely blown away with shock. I am speechless. Yes, I am completely without speech at the moment. I mean, this is par for the course, is it not? Yet again, another classic, because she's from, where's she from? I don't remember. She was from up north from somewhere. I want to say it was maybe like around like Maine, Rhode Island, somewhere around that fucking area there. And I saw this and I'm like, of course, a fucking Yankee carpetbagger coming down here to South Carolina to tell us all about how racist we are and how they're so progressive up there. Well, let me tell you, there's a good way, if you don't like it down, there's a good way to fix it. Get on your fucking horse and march your fucking ass back up there. It's real simple. But, of course they're not going to do that because that's not the way it plays out, right? I mean, I've said this going way back. Way back. I've said that people think that the Reconstruction here, they supposedly think that it ended in 1877 here. That's not fucking right at all. The Reconstruction has been an ongoing issue for a long time. Now, it died out a good bit, but that little slimy, sugar bowl-headed, haircut, wannabe fucking nationalist Dylan Roof, when he went and acted like an idiot and shot up a church and killing a bunch of innocent black folks, when he did that, oh, it ignited it right up. Because let me tell you, it's the same as like a school shooting. When something like that happens, and they can toss the veil of racism over top of it, when they have the ability to do that, they're ready. They're going to jump right on it. And we saw it happen. And the Reconstruction reignited like a mighty brush fire that just been smoldering. Somebody walked by and blew on a little bit, maybe tossed a little bit of fuel on, and woof, before you know it, it's a blazing inferno sweeping across the South. And this lady is just a remnant of that that's come down here. We're saying, people talk about like California and, if we could just get rid of California and everything would be great and get rid of this liberal area and cut this line off here. I saw like a separation of the state where they had it like, or a separation of the United States where they had it blocked off with like a line, this is how we need to divide it. I got bad news for you. I'm going to be bad news Odinson here for a minute. I got bad news for you. These people are like a virus that have spread. You know, you look at like Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is full of Californians. Here in the South, more the city areas, that have colleges, Columbia, Greenville, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, those areas that have pretty large colleges, guess what? They're infected by people from Chicago, New York, Rhode Island, even fucking North Carolina anymore. I mean, just completely and utterly infected with these people. And they come down here and they immediately start their bullshit. Immediately. It always happens. And this lady is no different. Alright? So I put the effort out there. I said, you know what? Let me see. Because every time I've tried this, it's failed miserably. But I'm going to try again. So I send out, hey, I'd like to discuss this with you regarding your talk about white privilege. Excuse me, white advantage. And I'm like, well, maybe they'll want to talk. I'm always the optimist. Maybe they want to explain their position. I was met with crickets chirping. Not even crickets chirping. It's like the fucking Dead Sea. It's completely quiet. There's nothing going on. All I hear is the rush of the water around me. No sound, no nothing. No response. And yes, I know they've seen it, but okay, it's to be expected, right? So, as always, if these leftists don't want to have a conversation with me, I'll be glad to discuss their content by myself. That's no problem with me. I'll be glad to take their false commandments that they have written and planted to the wall as if it's law. I will be glad to walk up with a sledgehammer and bash it to pieces right here over the open airwaves. And maybe once they've heard me get on here and destroy their fallacy that they've created, maybe just then they'll have the balls to come on this show and have a conversation with me and explain to me to my face exactly what my privilege is. Okay? I am hoping, begging, pleading to the guys right now for them to have another event like this, because I guarantee you I will show up there with a damn camera, and oh boy, we're gonna have ourselves some fun. Alright, as long as fun will allow me to have it, right? You're pretty quick. Oh, you gotta go, get out of here, call the cops. These are the same people that protest about cops killing people, right? Cops are out there it's open season on black folks. Complete and utter horse shit. Even science proves that that's bullshit. When you actually take the numbers and write down the statistics, even that proves it's bullshit. But these are the same people that will quickly call the cops. And you know what? That's the nature of the cultural Marxists, right? They're always there to push their agenda, to push that whole Marxist agenda. They want to keep pushing it. They want to do that because everybody always says, oh, these guys are weak, right? We hear that all the time. They laugh at them. Oh, look how weak these guys are. They couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. Well, that's not the way their system's designed. You see, here in the United States, we're used to having the gumption to stand up and fight for ourselves, right? Well, you see, the cultural Marxists, their mentality is not to fight for themselves. They have zero intent of fighting you man to man, all right? They have zero intent of fighting you man to man. The goal is always, from their weakened state, to become dependent upon the state, right? And then the state steps up and defends these people. Oh, these aren't the ones pulling the triggers. No. They're the ones casting yes on the ballot box that says pull triggers. Okay? So let's break down a few of the things here written on this little flyer. And I'm going to sit here and describe to you, because many of you probably aren't even aware. Many of you probably aren't even aware of just how privileged you are as a white person. So here I am. I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to save this lady time coming on this show since she doesn't want to. I'm going to save her the time, and I am going to discuss white privilege for her. All right, so let's jump into this. So first off, they said that this book is this whole talk series is based on the book Waking Up White by Debbie Irvin. Debbie Irvin. Now, if that is not the perfect name of a white chick that lives in the suburbs, I don't know what is, right? And that's precisely what she is. You know, oh, I went to such and such college, and they taught me there that I was privileged to be white. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, whatever, Debbie. Let me tell you something. Look, I'm going to break you down here, okay? I mean, you know, you guys want to come out on the attack. I'm sick of sitting back here and just listening to these people have free reign over the dialogue. You know, and a lot of people will tell me, you know, I'm going to touch on this real quick before I talk about this stuff. A lot of people will tell me, you know, who cares, right? Who gives a shit, right? Well, here's the thing. If they maintain control over the dialogue, well, guess what that means? If they have complete control over the dialogue, that is going to start shaping the hearts and minds of the people around me. Because it unfortunately does. I know we like to think that everybody has the capability of thinking on their own, and you know, well, if we put the information out there in a clear, concise, scientific manner, that everyone will just start to flock to it, and they'll read through those 8 pages of notes that I put down and watch this 3-hour documentary, and they'll become enlightened. No, they won't. I got bad news for you. No, they won't. People do not want to spend too many mental calories on this shit. So how do you get this across to people? Some people, man, they flock to that stuff. But most people, they want to feel something. You know, they want to have some feelings behind it. They want to feel the fire. They want to feel the fire. Well, here I am to ignite this fire. You know, I've already said, I posted this a while back too. I'm not interested in saving everybody. Right? I'm not interested in saving the world. Maybe at one point in time I was, but I am smart enough now to understand that that's not going to happen. My goal and the point of this show right now is to ignite the brush fire that will sweep through this land and burn away all the filth. That's what I'm here for. Filth that's spreading this propaganda that constantly is putting you at war with each other. Because let me tell you something, folks. There's an enemy out there. They're nameless. They're faceless. People try to throw names on them. There's an enemy much larger than all of us. And we refuse to acknowledge it. All right, let me jump into this. I'm sick of these people controlling the dialogue. They think they've got all the dialogue, and they're out there changing hearts and minds. And before you know it, we've got more people. These people the disease starts spreading. And before you know it, there will be no other voices out there because they will all be silenced, or they'll all be too afraid to say shit. Because the might of the empire will come down on you. And slowly but surely, people were silent during the Bolshevik Revolution as it rose up. But once it took hold, death followed. And if everything is going to burn through, and these people, I am of the opinion, the educated opinion, just from a historical standpoint, and what I see, and if anybody is a realist, they will see this too. These people are on the rise. They are moving steadily to the top of the mountain. And once they get power, they will sweep through this land. And once that fire starts burning, they're going to want to consume everyone like a fucking Borg. If you ever watch Star Trek, the Borg, you know, they want to assimilate everybody. Well, we're not here to be assimilated. When that fire starts, I need as many allies on my side of the table as I can possibly have. And the only way we're going to do it is to offer an opposing narrative. If you want to sit on the side and say, I'm just going to worry about myself and my people, that's cool. Good luck with that. History shows that you will fail in the long run. When the empire consumes itself, you better be ready to join up and fight. So let's talk about this debacle of a fucking thing here. Let's see. The About Us. The Racial Unity Team. You gotta love that, right? The Racial Unity Team. When you look at this Racial Unity Team, it's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke because what you see is it's basically a white people hating team. I've seen it. It's absolutely crazy. Let's see here. It's very, very difficult to read because this is, it's all kind of, somebody kind of snapped a picture of it for me. So, alright, let's just go to what they will discuss. Stereotypes about people and another race. Oh, a stereotype. You mean like the one that says there's such a thing as white privilege? Is that a stereotype? See, I would get thrown out of this event so fast. Is it saying, excuse me, ma'am, is it saying that that you have white privilege or white advantage? Is it just those words in themselves? Isn't that an admission of a stereotype right there? I mean, right? I mean, what are stereotypes? Tell me about some of the stereotypes. First off, white privilege is a stereotype, right? Because a stereotype, it basically means that it's an opinion about something that is untrue, right? You have an opinion about this and it's untrue. Meaning, this individual says white people have privilege. I can tell you right now, come hop in my truck and I'll take you for a ride through some of the trailer parks here and you explain to me exactly where their privilege is. Explain it to me. I'd love to hear it. Why don't you just take a poll? Take a poll here in the South. Hell, take a poll in my town of about 800 people. Take a poll here and explain and let see how many of them say they have privilege. All right? About stereotypes. You know, what will be another what will be a stereotype are they talking about? You know, well, you know, one stereotype would be saying that more crime is committed by people of the African American race. Well, I'm sorry, that's not a stereotype if statistics prove it, right? I mean, I've been talking for a long time about that. That's not, you know, calling it a stereotype is basically taking the problem and pushing it underneath the rug and saying it doesn't exist. And no, it's not institutionalized racism. No, it's not that. It's a problem that is developing within the culture, within the community. That if everyone is willing just to ship it under the rug and ignore it's there, it's never going to fix itself. Instead, it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And everybody says something must be done. And then the cops try and enforce the law and then you say, oh, that's racism. You know, so this whole problem just becomes compounded because nobody wants to look at it. They want to say, well, that's a stereotype. No, it's not a stereotype. It's an unfortunate truth that I believe, and I think most other good people in the black community would say that something needs to be done about it. But blaming the system for a problem within your community is not the answer. It's not the answer. The community has to fix the problem. You know, we hear these stereotypes. We hear people talk about stereotypes all the time. It's like there's a stereotype that says, I'll tell you an untrue stereotype. There's a stereotype that says that most of the a lot of Hispanics, you know, the whole lazy thing, that is absolute and utter horse shit. I've got some Hispanic friends and they work their asses off. Legal Hispanic friends who work their asses off and they're out there hustling and working in the fucking South Carolina heat day in and day out trying to make some money. So, you know, I get sick of seeing those stereotypes myself, if they're absolutely untrue. You know, it amazes me that a group that talks about stereotypes, their complete foundation for what they are and what they represent is based on a stereotype. Completely insane. Let's see what the next one says. Discovering the meaning of unearned advantage. Oh, unearned advantage. I actually agree that unearned advantage is not a good thing. I don't really, you know, I think that you know, it's kind of like the old saying, the old prepper saying, you know, if you don't work, you don't eat. I'm of that mentality 100%. And if it was up to me, I say yes. Let's enforce that. If you don't work, you don't eat. So all these people that are riding the food stamp bandwagon, you don't work, you don't eat, right? If you need government assistance to get you off your feet or get you on your feet for, I don't know, 3, 4, 6 months tops. I wouldn't even know if I give it that much because the job isn't that difficult to find. You know, once you reach that point, guess what? There's no extension. Boom, it's cut off. It's gone. So yeah, let's do it. Welfare. If you need a little help to get on your feet, that's fine. But after X amount of time, bam, it's chopped off. There's no extensions. There's no exceptions. There's no nothing. Bam, it's gone. It's real simple. I agree with that. Unearned advantage, 100%. 100%. I tell you another thing that we need to eliminate with unearned advantage. Things like affirmative action, saying that someone deserves a title, position, job, whatever, solely based on race. That, in its very definition, is racist. So yes, let's get rid of that as well. Unearned advantage, hey, I'm all for it. Barbarian Lounge supports that idea. Let's get rid of all unearned advantage. I'm okay with that. I would like to see that gone. Dead and buried, never spoke of again. Let's get rid of all those things. That's great. I like that. Maybe this isn't so bad. How white people decided white people were the best people of all. I'd love to hear the explanation about that because I would like to see the poll numbers of where they polled white people and said, explain to us who do you think's the best race of all? Who do you think's the best people of all? Let me tell you something. Surprisingly enough, if you ask a race who they think's the best race, they're probably going to say themselves for the most part. Me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think one of the best overall, if you want to get technical, one of the best overall races out there, I'm probably going to start looking more towards Asia. They're nationalists, they're traditionalists, they have traditional values, they've maintained their culture throughout the year, they've had the balls to stand up and say, no invaders allowed here, illegal immigrants, no, non-tolerance policy, get the fuck out, right? Yet they're hospitable, they're willing to open trade to other people, yet not be overrun. So yeah, granted, I don't want something like communist China in there, but at the same time, you look towards Japan, those areas around there, man, they're very, 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 they have a nationalist policy to themselves. They have a lot of pride in where they came from. Unlike, right now, I certainly wouldn't say that white people are the best race because from a now standpoint, most of them have no respect for where they came from. They don't respect the fact. They say, oh, well, we were slave owners, and we did this, and we took over this country. Guess what? You have all of those people to thank for the privileges that you enjoy right now. That's true. You have them to thank for the privileges of living in the United States. And just for the record, that's not white privilege. That's everybody privilege. That's privilege right now of people of color, races, ethnicities who have come here legally and are responsible, respectable members of society. They all enjoy that privilege right now. You also can thank people from European descent for fucking discovering America, for one. For two, you can thank them for most of the cathedrals and the architecture and the road systems that we have now. Most of recorded history. Who kept track of recorded history? Oh, well, that's, I hear the thing about the whole South Africa thing. Oh, well, that's colonialism. Yeah, and? Just to let you know, every plot of land that's occupied by people today, they didn't just go there and say, this is mine now, thank you, I've got it. No, they had to fight, bleed, die, and many times conquer other civilizations to gain access of it. I mean, this is not something that is new. It's something that happens. Dominant forces will go to an area, conquer it, and take it over. That's the way nature even has that. You can even see that in nature. Why do you think right now, from the sheer numbers of like the coyotes, why there's like open season, especially where I'm at, open season on coyotes right now because they've become the dominant species in sheer numbers, and they're sweeping through like locusts, killing all the wildlife. The same with hogs. Hogs do the same thing. They roll in, they destroy the crops, and they're breed. Sound familiar to anybody? I mean, this is real talk here, folks. Talking about privileges and stuff like they use their white privilege to establish this the United States. All of you are enjoying that. You know, the same rights that give you the ability to sit here and peddle your bullshit. Let's see here. And real quick, real talk, right? Let's talk real talk. You know, you look at places where civilization has popped up. What do those places have in common? Asian culture, massive historical background. Even Great Wall of China. You look at feudal Japan, all the things that grew up out of that. Even in feudal Japan, the crafting of swords at the time and weapons of steel and iron. You move up to Europe. What do you have? Castles, cathedrals, building ships to travel all the way across the ocean. Unheard of at the time. Having the ability to go out and gain more land, gain more territory. Creating a navy. Okay, so you take those two civilizations, then you compare them to the continent of Africa. This will pull some triggers on you, but hell, it's not like we ain't done it already. You know, where did the civilization pop up at? Where? Where was it? You know, tell me about the empire in the Congo. Tell me about how great South Africa was before it had colonialization there. About as great as it is now. Tell me about the old days. Tell me about the massive African fleet that had the ability to travel all over the place. Tell me about them. Tell me about all of the iron and steel weapons that they were developing at the time. That's right. What you had was a bunch of tribes that couldn't get along, that were kicking the shit out of each other, fighting over who was going to get the control over this pond. That's basically the gist of it. And don't get me wrong, there's a rich culture there. There is a rich culture. But at the same time, we have to also be realistic about saying there's some problems that were going on there that there was nothing built up out of that. You know, when you get up to like the Egyptian area, man, that wasn't your same people that are occupying Somalia, right? You know, it's kind of like the same thing. People want to bitch about colonialism, right? They bitch about, the horrible people that we need to start eradicating these. You know, who cares about the South African white farmers, right? Who cares about them, because that's just colonialism. Well, just to let you know, the last time, if you look back when the whole thing was going on with Rhodesia, when they basically removed all the white farmers from there, right? Now that whole area, guess what? They're wanting them to come back after they got them out of there and destroyed their farms. Get out of here. We don't need you. They kicked them all out. And I'm not saying there wasn't some bad shit that went on there, but you know, if we're talking about reality from a prosperous standpoint, once they kicked all those people out, what are they doing now? See, I look at the big picture, right? What are they doing now? They've taken over there. They're like, we've got it now. Now we have control. Well, let's do some farming. You know how to farm? No. What about you? You know how to farm? No. Now they're going, please, come back. They're begging for them to come back now because now they need help farming. You know, it's the same thing, the same argument, that controversial as shit, but hey, it's the truth. You look at like the Caribbean areas. Man, a lot of the Caribbean was some of the richest areas at the time. You had Spanish, French, English plantations there, massive plantations. And they were growing crops, there was trade, and it was just a very, very rich area. Well, once the quote unquote rebellion happened, where the slaves swept through and eradicated all of these plantation owners, right? Killed everybody. They killed, and this is the one thing a lot of people don't know, they killed everybody who was not African. So if you were, if you were mixed, guess what? Dead. If you were Hispanic, guess what? Dead. If you were white, definitely dead. So they killed everybody through there, took over the land. Now tell me how great places like Haiti, the Dominican Republic, the Bahamas, tell me how wonderful those places are now. And be careful what you say, because I've been to them. I was just watching a thing about drug dealing this morning, how the Dominican Republic has become one of the largest cocaine distribution hubs in the world. And they were showing like Santo Domingo. Everybody sees Santo Domingo and they're like, oh, they think resorts, right? Oh, no. It's a different animal when you're not in the resorts. So, I mean, and for a lot of people, that's a controversial opinion. But fuck, it's true. I mean, is that a stereotype? I went to the museum down there in fucking Nassau of the slave uprising rebellion and saw this. I mean, fuck, don't tell me, oh, that's racist. You can't say that. Why can't I say that? It's fucking history. I mean, I would love to see the world full of fucking Ben Carsons and people that are actually out there making a difference in their community. I've got some close friends of mine who are black people, and man, I'm gonna tell you what, they are some of the strongest, most inspirational individuals I've ever met. It's the same with like when I went to see the movie The Black Panther, right? I was of the opinion after it was over with that every single black household should go see that movie. Please go see The Black Panther. Because that is the ideal of what I would love to see Africa become. I would love to see the people that are out of Africa. The people that are, these migrants that are moving around, the people here in the United States that are all about, get that money bullshit. I would like to see them see the character, the culture he comes from. That is what you should be striving for. Not this slum hood gangster rap culture. That is what poisoned you to start with. I don't want to see that. And you should want better for yourselves than that. Let's see. What's the next one here? The power of inclusion. Inclusion is code word for no white people allowed. That's the truth. I'm sorry. That's basically what it's become. Inclusion. If you see, we run an inclusive organization. There's usually no white people there. Maybe in management. Maybe. But usually that's not the way it is. I tried, there's a local, they were associated with this actual group here that runs they're like the racial, some like Come Together Florence or some shit like that. And they do like a business owner's meet and greet. So basically you can go there as a business owner, small business owner, and mingle with everybody and network. And I'm like, well, this is good. Let me just see, So I put forth an application to go there and take part in this, right? No. Why? Well, you're not really the type of clientele we're looking for to attend this. Well, clientele, exactly what does that mean? I mean, I'm a small business owner. I'm located here in the community. I thought this was open to all. It even said open to all, but not me, right? Well, when I look at the business owner, their inclusive group of people that are allowed to meet there, well, surprise, surprise, none of them are white. I mean, I would love for there to be actual true inclusion where everyone's allowed to be there, but unfortunately the left has taken this word, twisted it, turned it around, and now inclusive means no whites allowed. Let's see. Learning and listening to speak across differences. Okay, yeah, I think that's great. I think I've been speaking across differences here quite a bit. And I would love to listen to the other side, but they don't actually want to